Welcome to All Music Matters Net, a podcast for all things related to music. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like and comment below, and consider subscribing so you can show your support, and join today so you can see more content like this in the future. And now, let's get into the episode.
Life is pretty much like a water. It will find its way to go on. So the musicians must do too. And also they have to be themselves, not trying to mimic anybody. We musicians are humans, and every human is unique. It has unique characteristics, unique personality, so they have to be themselves.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the All Music Matters Net podcast. I'm your host, Brian, and joining me today, hailing from Athens, Greece, is it pronounced Stamatis Kekes?
Kekes.
Kekes. Okay. Nice to meet you, brother. How you doing?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing good. It's a little bit of a rainy day out here, so I don't know how the weather is in Athens, so...
In here, it's sunny and quite warm.
It is quite warm.
The summer is very close.
It's coming around. It's right around the corner. All right. I do want to thank you so much for coming on. I wanted to reach out because I wanted to get to know other drummers, and I saw you're in Greece, and I've actually been meaning to actually visit Greece with my parents one of these days, so maybe you can shed some insight on that. Before we do actually get to that, I do want to talk about some of your drumming. So, I've got some questions for you. So, are you ready?
Sure.
All right, here we go. So let's just start off with an easy one. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
How shall I start on how I got introduced to drumming, my progress?
Yeah, how'd you get into drumming?
Actually, when I was young enough, let's say teenager, 14, 15, I was attending in a local conservatory, and my first instrument was the guitar. I play more years guitar than I play drums, but I never took it seriously as I did with the drums. And when I first sat on the throne was when I was 15 years old. From that day, I was dreaming about finishing off the basic solfege conservatory classes and then to start attending for drumming.
That's a pretty cool on the throne.
The time passes, went through numerous of lessons, spent thousands of hours in practicing. And still I spend to improve myself. I started teaching back on 2003. This lasted till 2010 when crisis arises here in Greece. And one of the first things that people cut off was the music. You cut off the needs that are not mandatory. So I stopped teaching. I was unemployed, as this is not my profession, my main profession. I'm specializing in the IT, information technology area. And I had a pause from 2012, as I had an accident with my bike, till 2018. Broke my arm in 4 points. In here, in here, in here, and in here. Got 2 surgeries, but right now I'm recovering still.
That's good to hear. Boy, actually, what'd you do? Did you, it sounds like that's more like a skateboarding kind of accident, really.
No. Motorcycle.
Motorcycle. Oof. That's even worse.
I was in a road, and a woman was speaking in her cell phone, not paid attention for me coming.
Oh boy.
It was in less than 10 meters. I was with around 80 kilometers per hour, which is close to the limit. The limit was 90 on that road. But in 10 meters, you cannot stop.
No.
With that speed.
No, that must have been scary.
Yeah.
And that's funny too. And people nowadays are just like so glued to your phones. And was she texting and driving? Was that what it was? Or was she just like walking across the street and just texting?
No, she was with her phone in the ear.
Oh, man. I'm really sorry. I'm glad you're recuperating. So it's good to get back in shape too.
Yeah.
So you said drumming was not your profession. So is this more like a hobby, or do you do that as like a second job or a side job?
Actually, I want to turn it into profession. Being a session musician, monetizing my YouTube channel, some little from here, some little from there. As in the IT environment, conditions are getting way too heavy for me to still load them on my back and hold them.
Yeah, it's tough business, like doing two jobs at once.
Yeah,
So.
53. I'm 53 years old.
Yeah. I guess Greece has really gone through a lot of turbulent times, hasn't it? There's been a couple economic issues, and I guess how bad was COVID when that one hit?
The COVID, one of the biggest aspects was the strictness of the government's restrictions. Comparing with other countries, we were close to China and close to Peru, which were the strictest in the world.
Oh, man.
We were not allowed to get outside, only for groceries, and that sending an SMS. I'm lucky. I live not in a city. I live in the countryside of Greece, which gives me more slack and freedom to move. But those that were in the cities, the situation was dramatic.
Yeah, I can imagine. I guess jumping down to COVID, speaking of which, how has it been since? Have they been loosening some of the restrictions, or are they still keeping a lot in place?
We still have restrictions. For example, I'm not vaccinated. I took the first shot, and I had huge impact from the side effects. I was close to pass out from the side effects, and decided not to move forward with the rest of them. As one friend, which is military doctor, instructed me, forget about it. You live only once. You don't have to sacrifice your life for a vaccine. This is just a flu. That's what he told me. I went through COVID on January, and it was the flu is more severe than that. The situation I was. And still, we are not allowed to go in a cafe for a coffee without having a test or a vaccine certificate. In the meantime, in the other countries in the European Union, as I am in touch with many people, they have no restrictions at all.
Yeah, even though I think Europe's gone through a recent rise in cases, but I think that seems to pass, especially now since summer is around the corner. I think they're saying here in the U.S. we might get something similar to what Europe went through. It's kind of hard to say, but that might come later in the fall. So I guess it's one of those, you just have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, in here will be pretty much the same.
Really?
They will loosen up for summer, as we are our heavy industry is tourism. So they must be able to accept people who have not any certificate because in their countries it does not exist anymore. Something like that.
Yeah, it's something like that. I don't really understand the whole
Yeah.
government things or whatever it is the government's doing. So I think it's just best to play it by ear and see what happens. But how bad did COVID affect your life outside of, I guess, the one shot you got and then kind of going through the side effects? I guess.
Uh, the Actually, I might say that it gave me it shut down my Aikido class.
Hmm.
I'm also Aikido instructor.
Hmm.
Yeah, the martial arts is another side of me.
That's pretty sweet.
I'm in Japanese martial arts since my 8th year of life.
Oh, really? Was this like a? It sounds like you got like 3 jobs kind of going all at once now, don't you?
Uh, it's not job. It's for me. It's a path of life. I might say
Hmm.
the Budo, the martial arts.
I guess how'd you get into it? Or did you just hear about it one day and they had something just down the road and you just decided to go check it out?
Actually, I try to avoid being involved in any kind of conflict or fight.
Hmm. Oh no, I meant with the Japanese martial arts. Because you said you started doing it at 8 years old. I guess how did you, how did it get you involved at 8 years? I guess did you just hear about it, or did your parents encourage you to get involved with it?
Actually, my father got me in the karate dojo. We were in West Berlin in Germany,
Hmm.
and my father got me there just to learn how to fight as anti-bullying tool
Hmm.
because the Greek school with the Turkish school were in the same building,
Hmm.
and the Turks were way older than us. They have a large percentage. Not sure if these days the percentages are the same, but at that time it was about 67% of people not knowing how to read or how to write.
Hmm.
So if a person 14 years old comes in a school, he cannot start at the last grade. He must start with the small kids to learn the alphabet. Those kids were bullying us.
Hmm.
Uh, After some time that all of these situations stopped because he started fearing of me, of getting involved with me. I was feeling okay in the martial arts school. Not for fighting, but I was exploring and learning things that was deliberating my inner world,
Hmm.
and I felt home. I never stopped practicing. I just changed systems, styles. From karate, I went to judo, then I went to jiu-jitsu, then I got 6 months for ninjutsu, but way too dark, and left, and finally found my home in aikido.
Hmm. So this is the kind of guy you do not want to fight in a bar fight or anything like that.
Uh, I am the most difficult guy that you will make me get involved. Unless you throw something like a knife or something like that,
Oof.
or you try to hit me first.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
That's different part of story. Then it's self-defense.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. You got to defend yourself in
And
those kind of
even on
situations.
that case, I will do something light. For example, I will deflect the attack and leave it like that.
Well, let's hope it's not
And
come to that because that's pretty strong here too.
uh, it's not a matter of strength. It's a matter of mind and technique.
Gotcha.
Especially in Aikido, the stronger your opponent is, the more he will hurt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you use his own power.
Turn strength against strength, or I guess you use his strength against his own and stuff like that. Or
exactly.
I forget how the saying goes, but it's somewhere along that line.
Pretty much like Steven Seagal does.
Yeah. All right. So I don't think your drum kit's near you, but talk about your kit a little bit. What's all entailed with it?
What I have in my kit, it's not just a 5-piece kit.
Yeah, for some of your pictures, it looked like it was a little bit more expansive. I don't know how many symbols you have there.
Yeah. My setup is from right to left. I have 3 rototoms. Then I go 4 octobans. Then I go 3 rack toms. 2 floor toms on my right side. I have 2 snare drums. One in the traditional position. One on my left, just close to the hi-hat. And I have also a floor tom on my left side. It's quite symmetric, I might say. Not exactly symmetric, but I can try and play things from my left side as well. As for cymbals, I have a mixture of them. I have 4 crashes, 2 on each side, one short, one with long decay. I have 3 splashes, one 6-inch close to my hi-hat and 2 just above the rack toms. I have 3 stacks, pretty much in the position that Portnoy uses them. I'm wondering how I will place them when I bought them, and decided to try those positions. Found them comfortable, so if it works, why change it? I have 2 hi-hats, one on the right side, one on the left side, remotely operated from my left foot. And of course, the double pedal. I recently upgraded from Sonor to Tama. My Sonor kit was entry level,
Okay.
so I had almost no rebound at all when it comes to speed and fast things. So the rebound was generated from my finger muscles. I was struggling to get on time. The new kit is not entry level. I have full rebound. It took me about a couple of months to adapt on it, because if you learn to play with the fingers and you get on a kit that you have full rebound, and you try to play a song that you were strangling a month ago with the old kit, you realize that you do the fantastic break, and when you finish up, you just realize that you finished up, but it took the half of the time that it must have. You go faster than the song.
Yeah, so then you got to like pivot the whole way back just to get back to doing the high snare.
Also, with my pedal, I had issues with my left foot. I used a Tama Iron Cobra and had issues with the shaft. A lot of friction in the joints, which added a tremendous amount of delay in my left foot. That for 3 years disorganized my foot, and I'm still recovering on it. As with my new pedal, I also changed the shaft with ACD 1 and that goes pretty good. But still, I have a lot of dirt to get out of my foot.
I see. Do you have like anything else? Do you have like any like triangles, chimes, or anything like that, or is it just kind
No, I used to have a cowbell,
of cowbell?
small cowbell, and jam block, but those I use them only on demand, so
Mm.
I don't get them right now in my kit. If I play a fancy thing of Portnoy, etc., that has those occupied, I will place them. I will do my cover, and then I will get it off.
That's pretty sweet. That's a pretty extensive set too. So I did see some of your
Yeah.
pictures on Facebook, so it does look like you keep yourself pretty busy.
I have two tambourines. One on the hi hat, my
Tambourines.
left side, which sounds exactly the same as Portnoy's tambourine sounds on the Metropolis Part 1.
Mm.
And the second one is on my left side, on my right side. And that's a normal one.
I see. You said Mike Potboy. Is he your biggest influence?
Portnoy was an influence for a small amount of time. The biggest amount of time my influence was Neil Peart.
Neil Peart. That's pretty
Yeah.
sweet. The legend himself.
Yeah.
I guess, was there anyone else, or like Keith Moon, or John Bonham? Because I see you're wearing Led Zeppelin, so I'm assuming John Bonham is probably an
No,
inspiration.
I liked Bonham, but I preferred Ian Pace from that decade and area. But other than that, when I started my drumming, when I listened to Rush, I was amazed from the professor. Also was amazed from Mark Zonder, Warlord. He's amazing drummer.
Oh yeah, I say a lot of drummers. coming out
No
of those-
no matter the kind of music he sits on, you simply tell that he has a natural drum machine swallowed.
Yeah.
Other early influences were many drummers like Nico McBrain at that time. I was a rookie, so I was anybody who was playing things that were difficult for me to play was an influence at that time. As the time passes and skills are developed and chops are being built, many of those have been demystified. As I was teaching in one of the two big conservatories in Athens, many of them have came as for clinics, and I met them, and I jammed with them.
Some of them. Sweet.
Yeah, and they were demystified, and so currently my influences, I might say, is Mike Mangini, which is an octopus. Yeah. He's completely ambidextrous, as I used to be. I spend a lot of time for developing my left side to be as near as equal with my right one. I still have plans for that to recover. Mike Mangini is one of the greatest influence I have for technique. Other one I might say is Marco Mineman, Thomas Lang. Those type of drummers.
Yeah, you got quite an extensive list. I'll give you that. Those are definitely all actually good choices too. So
Yeah.
absolutely. What do you love most about drumming? Is it more so for the sweat, or is it just the fact that you get to try something new out and challenge yourself?
I always challenge myself. I'm always seeking around for challenges. Right now, I saw in the last couple of days that a new madness began with blindfolded drum covers.
Yeah. That was courtesy of Mike Flew who did that one.
But most of them, I see them playing easy songs. So, not sure, but I will try to do the Dance of Eternity, blindfolded.
Which group did that one?
Dream Theater.
Dream Theater.
From Metropolis,
Okay.
from Metropolis Part 2, the 6-minute instrumental, which was played in the drumming interviews when Portnoy left.
Okay.
At that time was the most difficult Dream Theater song.
Oh, really?
For the Dream Theater members.
Yeah, he definitely does some pretty good works. I know Octavium, I think that's how you pronounce the album's name, but it's the one that has a Panic Attack on it. I know that one was a pretty tough one too, especially given like...
Yeah. Dream Theater is my favorite band.
Yep. They didn't play like a whole lot when I hear them on the radio. I just hear like, I think I heard like only the song like Pull Me Under every now and again, but I know The Root of All Evil I thought was always a fun song to play too.
Yeah.
So, going into this drumming little side job you're kind of doing, talk about how you interact with other musicians in the European Union, and I guess you've also interacted with some people in America too.
Yeah, I have no problem. This is being done mostly online through Facebook. I already ran a couple of collaborations with some musicians. I'm open to whoever want to collaborate with me.
Is there a particular genre you guys focus on, or is it really anyone?
Mostly on metal, but not death, thrash. Mostly on melodic stuff.
The melodic death metal. Okay, I see it. I guess who's been your most interesting client to have worked with so far?
Thank you.
Actually, no, I was saying which one has been your most interesting client that you've worked with so far?
With client,
I guess whichever one comes to mind.
I had a proposal with from a guy in Thessaloniki. He wanted me to track for him death metal. It's not of my favorite. My pedal was sucked at that time. Finally did it, and he was happy. Before my pause on 2012, I played in many a session in mostly on studio work in many bands in Athens. Those who were telling that my drummer can play the hands but cannot play the feet, or can play the feet but the hands must be programmed. Okay. Give me the MIDI. I will make a drum sheet for it, and I will go to studio for your drummer. I don't want any credits. I just want to get paid.
Let's make that money. That's what we say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess
at that time was good. Was a good money resource. I was planning to quit the IT stuff until crisis was on the door.
Yeah, it puts a hamper on any sort of crisis. Puts a hamper on anybody's plans, really. I guess.
Yeah.
How many studios do you have in and around Athens? And I guess out in your neck of the woods.
In Athens, there are plenty of studios. Plenty of studios. Other goods. Other good, other bad. Most of them are operating as rehearsal studios. Some of them operating just as recording studios. The studios as places are fine. Most of the sound engineers are oriented to our folk music, and that, let's say, stupid style of mixing bringing up the vocals on top of everything. So when the vocals are singing, you can hear pretty much nothing from behind. And when a metal band will go there for recording and mixing, they will sound pretty much like that. Or they don't know how to record heavy guitars. They don't want even to hear on techniques about recording drums. They simply place the microphones without even doing experimentations about phase issues. Those that I do in my personal studio for my drum covers.
So they kind of place the microphones in bad spots, and then it doesn't pick up a whole lot. It's just mainly like cymbals crashing to, not a whole lot of like the snare or anything else.
It depends from the room you have, from the kit size you have, from the roof, how tall is the building. All of these, it happened to be a sound engineer as well. I studied that just in parallel while I was teaching drums. It was free course for me to get it and graduated from there. It has to deal with many factors on how to deal with phase cancellation. And of course, trial and error. You track, you compare, you see what happens, you move 1 centimeter, again, 1 degree, again, till finally it will sound great. Of course, as the time passes by and you gain experience and you learn your place, this becomes easier. You know what to do out of the box. But I saw them not paying any attention. And when I was hearing about the tracks, I was just telling that this mix will suck, will sound on the speakers just like listening the mix behind the glass, all flat, not multi-dimensional, that brings up the sound and makes it make the song live in front of you. Not something like that. So I was pretty much disappointed from the Greek sound engineers. Of course, there are exceptions. Okay, especially in Thessaloniki, I know a couple of guys who do great job, and I trusted them a lot when I was about to track them, without checking. Okay, here's my kit. I left up the enough room for you to fit the microphones. Do your magic, and tell me when it's about to play to start my warm up.
Okay. Do you know the band? I think it's the black metal band Rotting Christ.
Yeah, Sakis Tolis.
Sakis Tolis. The only reason I actually brought him up was because I think their guitar player actually was in a video game. He did a guitar track that you hear a lot from when, like, some of the guys, unfortunately, you have to kill with your sword and everything.
Yeah. They are very active. With Sakis on the decade of 90s, when I was in Thessaloniki, we used to work in closed shops. I was in a computer shop. He was working in a music store.
Oh, so you know him. Wow, that's pretty awesome.
Have been past more than 20 years from that period.
That's pretty sweet. You guys still good friends, or did you guys like just kind of talk?
No, we lost contact with Sakis.
That's kind of a shame.
So I don't think he will ever remember me.
Yeah, I guess it's also tough when you got a pretty tough schedule on your hands too. especially being a big
Yeah.
metal band and everything. And even now, getting involved in like the video game industry, it was just a simple acoustic track, but it sounded really amazing too. I think I actually did a couple
Yeah.
because I think there was one used in a alternate ending. For those who don't know, this is actually the video game Mortal Shell, and I think you might be right. It might have been Sakis. I don't know. I might have to look it up, but he played a couple guitar tracks on it, and they did sound amazing. So you just walk up and interrupt the guy playing. So, so that's pretty interesting too. So, let's jump back into your path forward. Seeing as COVID, summer's right around the corner, and we're slowly trying to at least put COVID behind us. At least I'm hoping we are. What's your goals and plans for this year and beyond?
For this year, my plans are to go mostly with collaborations and release only progressive metal drum covers and only, and finally touch Mangini. I think that I'm close to be able to play things from Mangini. Actually, if I had his setup, his completely symmetrical setup, it would be easier. The difficulty is to adapt his themes to a traditional setup where you have all toms around. And that is pretty much the difficulty, as we had a conversation in comments on Facebook with Mike. He was telling that in the new Dream Theater tour, he will use a more traditional like setup, a stripped down version of the big monster. It's not as big as many people think. It's just the racks and the height of it that makes it look like that. He has less items than me on his kit.
Yeah. I got more items than he does.
He was telling that his main difficulty with the new kit is to adapt themes from a dramatic turn of events from the songs that they plan to play from the Dream Theater album, the Black album with the 8-ball, and the rest of the albums that he was using the Monster setup. Just because he learned to share hits here and there, and now need to do
alternating
huge traveling.
Yeah, that can actually get a little bit tricky.
Being in panic all the time.
Oh man! All of a sudden he's like trying to be like a robot, just jumping like here and there, doing all that too. Oh man. Well, that'll be interesting. And speaking of your collabs, I think maybe at some point maybe we could do a collab, maybe a Dream Theater song at some point.
I'm close to track instrumentally.
Is that how you do it?
The instrumentally, if you watched the live at Butogan, instead of playing the Dance of Eternity, they split up the Dance of Eternity into pieces, and in the caps they placed older instrument sections of instrumental songs. Metropolis Part 1, the party section. They have two pieces there. Erotomania. The It's a Jam. They have also two pieces from Liquidation Experiment. And they finish up, as I remember, with the Let Me Breathe or the Hell's Kitchen.
Oh, really?
It's 13 minutes of, we say it in martial arts, randori, multi-opponent situation.
Oh, really?
A panic of things flying around.
That's
I'm close
interesting.
to track that, probably on Friday.
Oh, really? Best of luck to you, man. Would you like to do a drum collaboration with me?
It will be more than a pleasure for me.
We could do Dream Theater, but I would like to do Root of All Evil if that would be okay with you.
Oh, yeah, no problem, no problem.
All right, I'll send you a message through Messenger, and then we'll go from there. Okay?
Yeah, we can arrange it that offline.
All right. Let's jump now to about Greece in general. Why don't you tell me and the audience here a little bit about Greece, outside of, I guess, some of the crises you've gone through, but tell me about the landscape and everything, and the culture.
The culture.
Yeah.
Where is it going? Warm-hearted and with good sense of hospitality. That's why tourism is our heavy industry. We never take some things seriously.
Like a lot of people do. A lot of us don't take things
Yeah.
seriously.
And we tend to overwork.
Sometimes for like a little bit less than what you guys are actually putting into.
In the IT industry that I work for American. I have my clients are in the United States. I work for Sage. But when I was working in local companies, they used to occupy you for 10 to 12 hours per day.
Oof.
They pay you less than 8 hours. And they pay you when they decide that this payment has to be done, not at the end of the month. So it's difficult to schedule things, plan things. As about the cities, lot of traffic jam. As most of us, we tend to have our car parked right next to our couch, and if we decide to go on the loo, we take the car. You can imagine. It's ironic, but you can imagine the situation.
Yeah, I think I can see it. Yeah.
For 200 meters, they unpark the car and park it 100 meters, 200 meters after that. And you just think, how stupid can it be? What?
Yeah, logistics wise, when it comes to big cities, it tends to be a little bit of a clusterfuck, really.
Yeah.
So it is interesting, but tell me a little bit about Athens outside of maybe the architecture, because I know a lot of people like to go see some of the pantheons or even some of the early Greek architecture that's still standing to this day.
Those are still miracles. As I was a math guy, was a math nerd, I might say, and I loved physics, and all of these translated into music as well, because music is physics, it's mathematics. Is the representation, the exact representation of something in the timeline, which also is physics. I read a lot about them, and nothing seems to be there being, okay, I got it was my lucky day and made it. There are still many mysteries around them. For example, if you take the ancient Olympia, Delphi and Acropolis, they perform a triangle, which the two sides are equal, completely equal. Even with today's technology, seems to be impossible to do it. And they have done it almost 4,000 years ago.
Yeah. That also
Yeah.
applies to the pyramids you see in Egypt, too. It's like almost a miracle. how they were able to
Yeah.
Put all those heavy blocks, just stack them up one on top of the other.
The triangle history does not end there. It's just the starting. If you also do the Poseidon's temple in Sonio, Acropolis, and I think Delphi, is another triangle with all sides equal.
And that should be impossible for doing it at their time, but somehow they've done it.
Yeah, and they have done it.
That's amazing.
They have done it. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Have you ever been to Thermopylae to, I guess, walk around that battlefield where they talked about the Persians and the Greeks fighting against each other?
Yes, when I was traveling from Athens to my village where I live right now, the road was passing from there, and many times I stopped there. It's a beautiful place, not similar to what the movie 300 of Marvel presents, but it has a strange energy, a positive energy. You feel your battery is charged. Pretty much the same applies for Acropolis. The same applies for Delphi.
So it has like that little connection with like spiritual wise or consciousness wise, however you want to put it.
Something like that. I never went in depth on what really happens there, but was feeling positive and something was boosting me. My feelings. I was feeling extremely confident.
And it gave you some ideas to go back to your house and start doing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet. It's one of those things that are just unexplainable, really, and it's actually good that it has such a positive influence on the.
There are also places in Athens where have negative influence. A black hole of energy, completely. The mountain of Pendeli, it's such a place. You feel like it sucks you. It sucks your energy. Last time I was passing there, I was ordered my mixing desk back on 2014, and I was the shop was close to there, and was close to that mountain, and I passed from there because I was close in a client at that time, and I was riding my bike, and I had the feeling that something was telling me, go away, leave.
And unfortunately, we didn't listen.
Very creepy feeling. Very creepy.
Yeah, it is strange. I guess, did you still go, or did you listen to that voice that was telling you in your head, just turn around and just go home?
Yeah. Another place is close to the first cemetery in Athens, where is a park that right now not even the drug addicted persons go there.
Oof.
Everybody, when the sun goes down, everybody abandons that place. Even the dogs do not enter on that park.
Jeez. That's freaky.
I went twice, and I felt very, very creepy.
Yeah. Is that music playing?
That's my mobile. Hold on. I will answer him. He's my friend. He is calling me to go outside and meet him. I will call him right after our interview.
All right, sounds good. But we are kind of nearing the end, so you'll be able to go out in a few more minutes. Okay. Don't worry,
Okay.
I'll edit that part out. Last couple questions for you, I guess. Now I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of freedom to ask me anything, or if there's anything you would like to get off your chest. So.
I would like to ask your, let's say, your history on drumming.
My history, and I always keep track of this too, but I actually started off playing strings as well, but I was a cello player back in the day. And I did that throughout my childhood all the way through high school. But I didn't do it in college, and that's where it dropped off. But around that time, I started playing the video game Rock Band. Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
I started playing that, and it became more than just a fad over time. So when my parents realized that I was taking it more seriously, I was ecstatic to actually get a drum set. But they didn't want to do an acoustic set because...
of the noise.
Well, the noise, yeah. The walls are not very good in my house. So you're able to hear just all the banging and everything. So it would keep them up at night. So fortunately, they found the electric drum kit, which it started off first as just a simple one. And I upgraded to my current one, which is a Roland TD-25K.
Okay.
So, and I've been playing that pretty much ever since. And it's great, too, because I get to... It gives me a nice little workout every now and again, but I've also loved listening to music and challenging myself. So, in a sense, it kind of feels like Rock Band, but you're not watching a TV and just trying to hit the red, yellow, blue, green, and yellow, or the orange notes.
Yeah.
So in other words, it's okay to just mess up, but at least you're showing that you're trying to keep time, you're trying to learn about music theory and stuff like that. So, that's just kind of a little bit of the short story, so...
Okay. One more question. What drumsticks do you use?
You know what? I forgot to ask you that too, so I'll get to you in that same question to you in a sec. Mine are Vic Firth.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of rolling with that one. Those were the first sticks I got, and I've not felt a need to go out and get any new ones or try out a different brand. I feel like it's Vic Firth. I feel pretty good. It's comfortable in my hands.
The wood is hickory.
What was it? The
material of the drumsticks, the wood.
Honestly, I didn't really go in depth. Really, it was just the fact that it was just a cool stick to have, and I just felt comfortable. And it was like I don't feel the need to change it up. And
when you grab the stick that is designated for you, you just feel it as an extension of your hands.
Yeah. It's like, if it's comfortable, why should I feel the need to change it up? So that's why. You could be right. It could be made out of hickory. I'm not too sure, but I know, at least after looking at it and just seeing on the inside, it's just like a bunch of straight lines shaping down like that. Yeah. So it's something like that. Which drumsticks do you use?
Currently, I'm using Tama 5A traditional oak. I used to use, and I will return back because I cannot stand breaking sticks every now and then.
Yeah.
The Tamas are very comfy. They are very elastic, so you don't get any vibration to your hands returned. They rebound very good, but they break very, very easy.
Very easily. Mm-hmm.
So I will return on my previous one, which were ProMark 747 rock nylon tip.
That's pretty sweet. Those are the ones you've been using ever since?
Yeah, for many years. Since 19...
I think answer that.
Hold on. Έλα ρε Τόλι, είμαι σε συνέντευξη. Είμαι σε συνέντευξη. Τελειώνω και σε παίρνω.
Άντε, θα βγείτε ή...
Θα βγούμε, εγώ θα βγω.
Εσύ θα βγεις, δεν θα βγείτε πια.
Όχι.
Καλά, θα πάμε στο μπαρμπόνι, θα κάτσουμε να πιούμε ένα καφέ.
Στο μπαρμπόνι θα ζητάει χαρτιά όλος μαλάκας.
Απ' έξω και έξω.
Ναι.
Να πάμε δηλαδή σε μπαλάκια.
Μπαλάκια.
Άντε καλά, εντάξει.
Οκ, έγινε, έλα.
Yep, we just learned a little bit of Greek today, folks. It's all right. We'll put that in as a blooper section.
Just to resume, those drumsticks eventually were being used by Simon Phillips with wood tip and Neil Peart. Neil Peart was using nylon tip as me.
Okay.
I did not grab them because of Neil Peart. I just went in a store. Strange kind of tip because it was a ball, not the tear shape, the traditional. I grabbed them. They felt okay on the practice pad. Okay, give me 10 of these. I still have a couple of pairs from that boat. They break extremely difficult.
That's good. So they last a good while. That's great.
Yeah.
That's a big thing too. So, all right. So we are almost out of time, and it looks like your friend's kind of getting a little impatient out there. So I guess we'll just jump to this. So we'll jump to the last question for you. So we are actually almost close to an hour. So,
yeah.
Last question is, what sort of message of hope can you give to musicians out there who are taking a similar path that you're taking, or are musicians that are coming out of COVID?
I lost a part of your conversation. Can you come up again with...
Yeah, sorry. Okay. What sort of message of hope can you give to musicians out there who are struggling after what happened with COVID, or are musicians taking a similar path that you are, but are struggling for whatever reason?
Life is pretty much like a water. It will find its way to go on. So the musicians must do too. And also they have to be themselves, not trying to mimic anybody. We musicians are humans, and every human is unique. It has unique characteristics, unique personality, so they have to be themselves.
That's
and
good.
The good days will come.
I wasn't sure. I was giving you a little pause there because I thought you still had a little bit more. So, yep, spoken like a true prodigy as well. All right, I guess, is there anything you want to add? Any shout-outs or anything you want to give?
I'm just wishing the best for your audience, for my audience as well, and see you on the collaboration.
Awesome. I'm actually really looking forward to it. Well, Stamatis, I really want to thank you so much for coming on. I know it's after 9, so you only got 3 more hours before Sunday rolls around. So,
yeah.
I want to thank you so much again for coming on. I guess anything else before we close out?
I thank you for the honor of being part of this interview.
And I also thank you for the quick Greek lesson that you and your friend gave us on your phone there.
Okay.
I learned a little bit of Greek. How about that? I will take it to heart and then try to figure out what you all were saying.
we were arranging about the place that we will go.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Stamatis, thank you so much again for coming on. My guest today was Stamatis Kekes. If I'm hoping I said it right this time. I'm hoping I didn't say it wrong this time. Okay, we got it right. All right. Stamatis, I want to thank you so much for coming on. We'll be in touch. Stay safe.
Thank you as well, Brian.
And stay tuned, y'all.
See you.
See you. All right. Take care.